Good afternoon. Today is May 14th, 2026. My name is Jamison Grammy with the Thomaston-Upson Archives. I'm here with Luke Haney of the Upson Beacon, and today we are going to be interviewing Miss Charlotte Hancock, also known as Thomaston's Shirley Temple. So without further ado. Okay, so Miss Charlotte, what do you remember about the town during World War II?
Well, I've seen the film, where I remember most, of course, is my aunt's beauty shop, which was the Vogue beauty shop, and it was you had to go upstairs, and of course the rooftop, which is now owned by Slices, and that's where I do my performance.
So right on the square.
Yeah, right on the square. The square was, still beautiful and still much like it. Of course, Moore's Dime Store was there. Paul, no, it wasn't Paul Pharmacy, Duke. I think Mr. Duke owned the drugstore that was next to it.
Oh, okay.
There was a Vogue dress shop that was down at the bottom of the stairs. And Maxwell Dime Store. Yeah.
Dime stores all over the square.
Yeah, there were dime stores all over the square. And of course, I'm not sure if McDonald's Pharmacy was, at one point in time, McClellan had one over there next to the Ritz Theater, and then one over across the way.
Yeah, where today's Little Ones is.
Yeah.
So, just getting right into it. During the war, we know your aunts dressed you up as Shirley Temple to entertain soldiers. So, can you tell us about that? Who were your aunts? And we already talked a little bit about where you performed, but just help us set the
How did it start?
Well, I'm not sure if I was used as a decoy or not. If you listen to my brother Jerry, I was. And so, anyway, I had Aunt Della Brown, who owned the beauty shop, Pauline Brown, Inez Brown, and Mary Brown. I was lucky enough to be the oldest of the granddaughters. And so, what they would do, they spoiled me rotten because I was the little girl, and I was a loving little girl. And they would take me and dress me up and put me out the long window onto the flat mansard roof. The hotel was over there. The soldiers were being bivouacked at that time in the hotel. And I would wave and dance and holler at them. And then the aunts would come to the window and get me. And Della didn't know this. And then the soldiers would come around to the beauty shop to meet the aunts. Married off two of them. I tried with the third one. I don't know what happened. She was on her own.
Okay. So it was 4 sisters. Okay.
There were 4 sisters.
And they all worked in the beauty shop?
Not necessarily. I think Inez was doing secretarial work somewhere.
Now, who were your parents?
My parents was Tom and Myra McDonald. And the Brown sisters were my mother's sisters.
Okay. And your mother, she didn't work in the
She
shop?
did not work at that. She didn't work. She raised children and took care of us.
Yeah.
Because there were 3 of us at that time.
And that's a job, for sure.
And the two that were married off were Pauline and Inez.
Pauline and Inez, right.
So, why were the soldiers staying at Hotel Upson?
Well, I didn't remember exactly. I just remember being there and being bivouacked. And then Vincent says that when his dad was there, it was because of the baseball game. So, but I remember the town having a lot of soldiers in it. I do remember that. I do remember them coming to our house because Mom would cook for them.
Oh, wow.
You know. So we had soldiers. Soldiers were in the town a lot.
Were y'all living close to downtown?
No, we lived on the village.
Oh, okay.
In Civiltown. Yeah. And my dad was at the Martha.
Okay.
And Dad was doing a job where they were, it was the circular fire hose type. I'm sure there's a name for it.
Yeah.
But, so he could not go into the Army. And not only that, he had all of us. So
I've heard of that. So the Martha Mills, they made the tire cord that went
the
into the
tire
fire.
cord, and he was considered a necessary there at the mill.
Yeah. Okay.
So he didn't go in there. Lots of the family, you know, James and I were talking earlier. I had several uncles on both sides, the McDonalds and the Browns, that were in the Army. So,
yeah. And so these soldiers we were talking about, they were from all across the U.S., right?
all across.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Joe happened to be from Pennsylvania.
And
His parents, his mother was Hungarian and his dad was Czechoslovakian.
and how do you pronounce the last name?
Rose.
Rose. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, so getting back into your performances leading to the marriage of two of your aunts, do you remember their first meeting with the soldiers?
Not exactly. I think more than those two came over. I can remember being on the rooftop more than once.
I was wondering about how many times you did it. Because how old were you at this time?
I was 3.
Wow.
Wow.
So, you know, it was more than one time that I appeared on the rooftop with the waving and the dancing. Aunt Della would not have tolerated it had she known it was going on.
Oh my goodness.
She was kind of the matriarch of the family. And if they don't, you didn't do that.
Right.
You know, women weren't brought up to flirt like that.
Yeah.
And so only these two took, so what can I say?
Yeah. So for any younger listeners, you were dressed up as Shirley Temple.
Right.
And we know Shirley Temple, but can you describe who she was and why she was so popular?
She was a dancer. She was a movie star. And little blonde headed curly hair.
And you had blonde hair.
And I had blonde hair and curls. Well, like I said, my aunt owned a beauty shop, so I had curls.
Yeah.
Whether they were natural or not, I had curls.
They made sure.
And so, anyway, I did resemble her in some ways, and that's why they called me the Shirley Temple, you know.
Yeah.
So, and I was like I said, I was a little bit on the spoiled side. So it was. He put me on that rooftop. I was ready to go.
I love that. I love that.
So,
And that people can get on that same rooftop today, because we said that's Slices, where they have, what do they call it?
Up on the square.
Up on the square.
yeah. And right under the Coca-Cola sign. That's where we be.
That's where you.
Yeah.
That's where you hung out at the window. That's great.
So, Pauline is the one who ended up marrying Joe, and
No, Inez married Joe.
Pauline married Frank.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. And so, and I know we just talked about this, but so from what we understand, Inez and Joe married during the war, but
Right.
Frank and Pauline married after the war.
Right.
So tell us what happened to Joe.
Okay. Of course, and they got married before Joe was sent away, was sent overseas. And he was killed in March, I believe, March the 3rd, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Judy, the daughter, was born in July.
Oh, yeah.
And so she never knew her dad.
Mm-hmm.
And Inez, and I thought Inez had Judy for me. Because I loved my aunts. Of course I loved my aunts.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, Judy became the next thing to a sister for me.
Yeah.
And we stayed close even up until her death. In fact, I talked to her the day before she died.
Mm-hmm.
Judy ended up being a doctor, a pediatrician, numerous awards, and she taught at the medical college, ended up going to Nigeria
Okay.
twice as a medical missionary
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
and she had her practice in Cartersville.
at one time, right. That was when there was a private practice there. And so then she goes back, and then when she came back from Nigeria, she got a job at Fort Gordon, and as a doctor, civilian doctor, and she would get troops ready, for the army.
Mm-hmm.
Did she ever, I don't know if you had any other family, did she ever get to meet any of
Yes.
his family?
Oh yes, she did. They were in Pennsylvania, but she did. In fact, they stayed close up till they were older, and as far as I know, there's not any alive right now. As far as I know.
So just out of curiosity, was he first generation American?
I can't answer that.
Okay.
I really
Okay.
do not know.
Okay, just thinking, you said his mom was Hungarian.
His mom was Hungarian.
Okay.
In fact, his mom came over and met Mr. Oros. I do not know her name before she came, but she was from Hungary and he was from Czechoslovakia. They met on the boat coming to America in 1912.
Wow. Goodness gracious.
So, but as far as him being, I believe so. I think I'm right in saying that he was first generation here, American,
Okay.
but I'm not positive.
Okay. So let's talk about Frank. So Frank, we know during the war his last name was Bond, but from what we understand, it was changed. So what was it, and why did they change it?
They were Polish. The original name was Bonkowski, and they changed it, I know, before Frank went into the war. That should be enough said right there.
Right, yeah.
But they changed it after they had come to America.
Yeah, they changed it when they got here. And I'm not sure exactly when they came over, his mom and dad. I did meet them at one point in time. They did come and visit Pauline and Frank here. But I didn't have that much contact with them.
And so
I do know he was from New Jersey.
So they likely came over on Ellis Island.
Could be.
Likely.
Likely, yeah. I would think that Joe's mother and dad did come through Ellis Island. In fact, I thought at one time I'd see if I couldn't trace it back, but I'm not always computer literate.
I wouldn't know where to begin.
So, tell me, Frank, tell me about the school troops that he was in during World War II.
I do not know that much about them. Don't forget, I'm 3 years old. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so until I had read what Vince sent us, I did not realize that. But I do know that he was the one that supplied the information about the baseball team. I do remember Frank being a boxer.
I was reading this. He was a Golden Glove boxing champion, a winner of Tennessee Valley Association in boxing, Iceland champion in boxing, and football and baseball athlete while he was a student at the University of Tennessee.
Yeah, and not only that, he was bilingual.
Mm-hmm. So from what I'm reading from Vincent, part of the school troops was a team that provided entertainment for the soldiers. So they loaded injured and dead soldiers onto evacuation boats. Being bilingual, he was part of a group that after a town was liberated, they were responsible for setting up law and order. Many times he was the mayor of these towns and villages. So,
and I had no clue to that. I did not know that until I read this.
One thing I'm trying to figure out is if was he doing all this as a member of the school troops, or was he helping additionally as a member of the military?
He would do it as a member of the military because he was a soldier.
Okay, that is amazing.
Yeah,
it is.
It really is.
And so he decided to move back to Thomaston with Pauline and get married after the war.
They did, and I remember at one point in time he had a dry cleaners here.
Really?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how long did they stay here? Because it says they moved in '52.
I know that Andy and Vincent both were born here. I do remember that.
And they were both Frank and
Pauline's sons. And Vincent has another brother, Andy.
Okay.
And I do remember they were born here in Thomaston. And then they moved to Columbus. And he worked for, I believe he worked for Unijax, because I remember one time having contact with someone from Unijax, and when I said I was Frank Bond's niece, they said, "Don't you know he's $1 million man?" So
it's amazing. He played harmonica.
That I remember.
Yeah, even after he was in Columbus, it says he organized many programs for young people. He had a lot to do with his scouting work. Got a Silver Beaver Award. And he was a busy man.
Yes.
So when he passed, and I could be wrong about this, I think I looked it up, are he and Pauline, are they buried in Southview?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Judy is buried in Southview. Inez is there.
But Joe
is buried in Belgium.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Vince was the one that, Vince and his wife were the ones that supplied the picture where Joe was buried.
That's the one that's on the board.
That's on the board. Yes. That was the one thing I asked if I could have when Judy died. And the whole idea was to present it to the archives.
Right. Well, we're so proud to have
It's such an important piece of local history.
And true, and not only that, since we're on the World War II tour,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I love little local stories like this. You provided entertainment locally, during.
As just a 3-year-old.
Yeah. I have a 3-year-old, and I can't imagine.
She hasn't been spoiled like that.
But funny enough, she has little blonde curls. That's
Oh, well, there's time.
So, tell me about your time with Shirley Temple and their service in the military in their lives. What are we forgetting to ask about?
Well, at the time, I did it because it was fun,
Yeah.
you know, and like I said, I was a little bit full of myself probably at that time. And don't say a word, Jameson. I know I still am. But I just remember. I remember the soldiers, you know, coming into the house. I remember my mama feeding them. My dad, they must have taken them out to grandmother's house because we have pictures that shows that they were, you know, taking some of the pictures that we have are taken out there.
Mhm.
And it was just, I was 3. And I did not realize exactly what was going on.
That was going to be my next question.
You know, other than this is great.
Right. You were having a ball.
I was
Do you think, was there a certain age, or when do you think you kind of realized what you were doing and the impact of the war and everything?
Actually, I did not realize that till after I got older. You start putting the connection together,
Mm-hmm.
and you realize that I introduced the two. There's Judy, and all that she contributed.
Mm-hmm.
There's Vincent and Andy, and all that they have done. So you never know.
Now, did Judy ever get married and have children or anything?
No, no.
I was just curious with her being out at Southview. Well, that's wonderful. So, do you have any other family members that were in World War II or any other wars?
Oh, yes. My husband was Vietnam.
Now, what was his first name?
Barney Hancock. And Barney was a helicopter pilot in Vietnam. He was a career soldier. I also have a son that was a career soldier.
Really?
Yes. Paul D. Schumacher III, Colonel. He retired from the Pentagon. I'm trying.
Wow.
That is
Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
You never know people that come out of this town.
Yeah. No kidding. No kidding. So,
Yeah. Well, you know, for people who are watching this at any point, or you know, I'm going to be working on this for the newspaper as well. Right now, it's almost Memorial Day, and alongside this story, what do you think is important for people to remember about our fallen soldiers, to remember about war efforts and everything that goes along with that?
If we had not had war, we might be speaking German because of everything that was going on at the time. I wouldn't have said that then, but now, because of what they did, we can do what we do
Absolutely.
completely.
absolutely.
Without fear, without any fear. I mean, I can say what I would like to say. I can criticize if I want to. And it's all because these soldiers did their duty. And if you were to ask my husband, who was decorated, you ask him about the Vietnam War, and he would say, it was my job. That's all he ever said.
That's great. Because they did their job, whether everybody else liked it or not. They were told to do their job.
They did their job.
And everything we have today is because
And
of them.
everything we have today is because they did what they did.
Especially, we don't talk about it enough, but the Germans, you know, they were way closer to developing the bomb than we realized. So
Yeah.
just, you know, we're just so grateful of the outcome.
Right.
Well,
Let's see. You Was anything else coming to mind, or do you have any other questions?
I don't know, but I'm so grateful you came here today. Thank you so much for
Oh, thank you. No, I appreciate both of you too.
Yeah.
It is a pleasure.
Well, thank you.
No,
No, it's my pleasure, really.
well, thank you so much. All right.